What's up, guys? It's your boy ChasmRift here, and today we are bringing ourselves a guide for EV training in Pokemon Ultra Sun, Pokemon Ultra Moon. EV training is what a lot of you guys are requesting about, because you guys want to take your battling to the next level. You really love it. You want to take it to either playing well on Battle Spot with your friends in Wi-Fi battles, or competing at the tournament level when it comes to VGC. And well, this guide is here to help you out in all three phases of that aspect. So a lot of you are probably asking, what are EVs? Well, EVs are effort values. They're a stat that you can essentially put to your Pokemon to make them better. If you want a good example of it, you can have the best genetics in the world, kind of like IVs for Pokemon right now. The thing is, your genetics will only take you so far if you aren't going to the gym to work out, if you aren't going to the track to run, if you aren't doing exercise. Well, EVs in a way are kind of like that, you know. If you're trying to improve, you gotta go out there and you gotta put some work in, you gotta train. Well, unlike training in real life, where if you take some time off to stop training and you get weaker, EVs are here to stay, unless you want to actually devalue EVs. Now, when we be talking about that, I'll just leave a link down below, and we'll get into that in a minute about what I mean when you say that you can take EVs away from Pokemon. But we'll just stick to the basics right now. Let me just explain what EVs are. Essentially, EVs are the value pool that you can give to a Pokemon. If you ever play a game where you get like skill points when you level up, basically those skill points you could distribute it to any way you want, kind of like in video games such as Dragon Ball Xenoverse, where you're making a creative player in like 2K or whatever. Same thing can be said here for Pokemon. The thing is, there's such a variety around where you can do it, and you can start off from right off the bat. Like, for example, if you look right over here in my layout and in my screen, I got myself a level 1 Gibble. Now back to what we're talking about with the EVs. There's many different things you can do with EVs. Since you have 510 to use, the most you can put into one stat is 252. You can do a standard version where you put 252 into 2 different stats, and then you'd be left with about 6. The reason you do the standard version is if you want to just go out there and just maximize two stats. Usually people maximize the attack stat and speed so they can have the fastest and strongest hitting Pokemon. And then there's a version I like to call the more technical way. And by technical, this is kind of for the VGC players, and we'll get into the example of that too soon. For that one, you're kind of making sure that every stat is important. You kind of use that to balance out your EVs to make them be used every way possible, because when you're using max speed and max attack, sometimes you got a little bit of overkill. And we'll go into an example right here of what it looks like when your Pokemon is EV trained versus not trained. So over here we're on trainertower.com, and we're using their damage calculator. And if we look here to the left and to the right here, we got 2 Garchomps. The difference is they both have the same stats. They have the same nature, the same ability. They both don't have an item. But the thing is, the Garchomp on the left has maximum attack and maximum speed. And this Garchomp has clearly better stats than the Garchomp to the right when it comes to the attack, speed, and a little bit of SPDEF, because we threw the extra 6 on here for the special defense. As you can see here, there's a significant 32-point difference in the stat for attack for this Garchomp. There's a 35-point difference for the speed of this Garchomp, and there's a 1-point difference for the SPDEF. Now, what does this mean right here? It just means that right off the bat, this Garchomp already went to the gym, he worked out, and he became significantly stronger. Now, what's so important about the EVs that you may be asking? Like, okay, you're a little bit stronger as a Garchomp. Like, what type of example would that bring up? Well, this is where I'll be talking about when it comes to the technical side of EVs. Because while it is good to have maximum speed and attack for your Pokemon, if you want to just hit hard and just keep on your day, that is very fine if you're out here trying to sleep. But you could run into issues. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have a max attack, max speed Garchomp, and let's say he pairs up against a Tapu Lele. Alright, on this calculator, we see here that our Garchomp is the exact same. He can hit hard. His poison jab does about 94.5% damage to a Tapu Lele. But the thing is, a Tapu Lele who doesn't even have an item, but has max speed and attack, automatically stomps. It just stomps because it does 111.4 to 131% on a Moonblast. That means that there's no way you're living unless, I don't know, the thing misses it. So what does this guy do with bringing in the, as I would say, the technical side of EV training? Well, with technical EV training, as in very common with VGC players, is that you make sure every EV matter. So while you have to sacrifice your attack and your speed you can invest those EVs into other stats such as your special defense. As you look at here, this Garchomp. This Garchomp has 108 HP, 200 attack, 100 Spadef, and 100 speed. But the thing is, this Garchomp holding an Assault Vest and having 100 Spadef, it actually has a good chance of standing against this Tapu Lele. Yes, there still is a chance that you get KO'd, but the thing is, it can live the hit, and at the same time, with this EV spread, it can outspeed. So if it gets first turn Poison Jab off, you're going to do a lot of damage to the Lele, and you're going to be hit hard by the Moonblast. But if you live that Moonblast, next turn you can get rid of the Tapu Lele. So this is an example if I could turn your Pokemon from being absolute fodder to one Pokemon to actually surviving against them. So enough of the nerd talk, let's just get into the actual EV training mechanics. As you can see on my layout, I have a Gible and I have a Weavile on here, and you see the number 36 next to that Solgaleo. Well, this is all makes sense right here because these are what we're going to be using to help us out with our EV training. First things first, when it comes to EV training, you should want a Pokemon to have False Swipe, which we have here with our Weavile, and you should also want a Pokemon that has Intimidate or Pressure because it just increases the odds of them coming out with Pokemon when they call for SOS, because we will be using that battle mechanic. That is completely optional, but it's definitely best if you want to just maximize and reduce the amount of time it takes to EV train. You want a Pokemon to have a power item, so that's why we're here at the Battle Royale Dome, because we're going to come here and we're actually going to buy ourselves a power item. For this guy, we're going to use speed. We're just going to be EV training for speed, so we're going to buy the power anklet. So you just do that here at the Battle Royale Dome. Talk to the lady to the left. And finally, you want a Pokemon with Pokerus. It is very optional, but it's very useful because it just speeds up the process. So right here we have my Espeon, who is rocking out with Pokerus. You see that little pink icon right below his name and right next to his level. If you want to transfer Pokerus to a Pokemon like my Gible, for example, all you gotta do is just run in grass and then flay for Pokemon. And if you do that a couple of times, Pokerus should be transported over. Alright, we're going to go over here and we're going to fly over to Melee Island. And the reason why we're going to fly over here is because essentially at this island you can pretty much find any Pokemon you need for the EV training guide. But I'll display a list up here for Pokemon I recommend that you could use that are perfectly fine for EV training. For the most part, if you want to use HP, you should look for Caterpie or Alolan Grimer. If you want to do attack, you can look for Yungoos, Rockruff, Grubbin, or Pikipek. For defense, there's Bug and Rolla. Special attack is Magnemite. Special defense is Drowsy, Ladybug. Or speed, you got Alolan Rattata or Wingull. And since we are here for speed on our Gible, I'm just going to run down here and we're going to run into this area where it's actually fairly common to find a decent amount of Wingull over here for our speed EVs. So after we run around here for a little bit, you're going to look to see if you got Pokerus on your Pokemon. Look, there goes a Wingull, for example. Alright, actually when you're in battle too, you can actually check to see if your Pokemon has Pokerus transported over. And while we're doing this, nope, we do not have Pokerus transported over. You'll see it at the top right icon for Espeon, but our Gible is pretty empty right here. So I'll transition back over to when we actually do get Pokerus. So I will see you guys very soon.
1 hour later.
Alright people, we are back, and if you check our Gible right now, yes, we gave him the power anklet as well. We have actually gotten to get Pokerus on here. So it took us about 4 or 5 different random encounters. And in theory I can start right now with EV training for our Gible. But I'm going to back out of here. I just want to show you guys an actual useful tip that you can use for your EV training if you want to keep track of it. So we're going to come over here to our Pokemon list. We're going to click on our Gible. And while we're clicking on our Gible, you notice that it has this hexagon shape. And if you click over and you press Y, you actually see this little yellow icon come up. This yellow icon shows our Gible right now, where he stands actually. And when you're investing EVs into the Pokemon, you start to see a blue bar show up depending on which stat it is. Like for example, if we look over here at our Espeon is actually perfect special defense. As you can see, a little glittering right there. But you should also notice that there's blue everywhere. It shows that it has been invested in HP and defense. The goal for this Gible right here is going to have that blue bar come all the way down to speed, so we have it glittering, to have it maxed out, just so we can show you guys how this guy goes. And the reason we got that 36 up top is because the 36 is representative of the number of EVs you'll get per battle if you do this correctly. If you have a power item, you have Pokerus, and you have the Pokemon in SOS battle, as you knock out the partner Pokemon but not this single version of it right now, you get 36 EVs. So it'll take about 7 SOS chain battles to complete this for your Gible to have maximum speed, and this works for about any Pokemon once you get Pokerus onto it. So right here we're just going to false swipe the Wingull, and then basically just gonna pray that it'll call in this ally. If it doesn't call in this ally, you can use an Adrenaline Orb to just speed up the process, because everything actually will stack up when it comes to SOS battle, believe it or not. Alright, we got our Adrenaline Orb going, and now Wingull's calling for help. So essentially all we gotta do is just knock out 7 Wingulls that have been called in, and basically that's about it when it comes to EV training. I'll show you the end result after we knock out our 7th Pokemon, and hopefully you guys can go out there and do some EV training of your own. So yeah, we'll see you out there very soon, and make sure you keep your experience share on, just so you can make sure that your Pokemon is actually getting EVs. So yeah guys, I'll do a quick cut to after we're done with our training here.
One eternity later.
Alright people, we are back, and we are already down to our 7th Pokemon that we're actually going to be knocking out for our EV training. Now if my Weavile stop hitting itself in confusion, we can move on with the rest of our day. Oh yeah, before we actually end off this video, and before I show you guys the results of our EV training, I want to mention that earlier I was talking about how you can reduce your EVs. There are actually berries out there that you can use to reduce your EVs. I will be linking that down below from a PokemonDB.net link. This link will actually help you find out which berries I'm talking about for the various EV reducing. That's if you want to that's if you mess up in your EV training, which is completely fine. We just do that. And since we're done with our training here, I'm just gonna run away. EV training at first seems very daunting, but once you get the hang of it, I do recommend that you guys try it out. And I know I did all that nerd talk in the front of this video about like the standard and the technical side of it. You don't have to worry about that if you're just starting out EV training. In fact, for anybody who's a beginner to battling online, I recommend you stick to the standard for a while and then switch over to technical if you want to take your game to that more precise level. And we'll be giving up battling guys here soon, so these EV training guys and IV breeding guys will actually come to fruition and help you guys out a lot. So we're gonna come over here to our Gible. We see that it's level 7 now. That's proof of our training over here with the SOS. And we click over here and we see that our Gible has a yellow bar going straight down. I do apologize, I said it was blue earlier. Blue is when that's when all the EVs have been distributed out that's possible for this Pokemon. But as you can see right here, the sparkling next to the red right there, that means that this Gible is perfect. If you guys want to know more about natures, I'll be bringing that up in our battle guides. And I just want to thank you all for watching this video. I will be leaving a timestamp for you guys in the front of the video, letting you know if you want to skip all the nerd talk, if it's too daunting for you. If you're new here, be sure to leave a like down below. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, a subscription would be greatly appreciated. And check out my Twitter and Twitch links down below. We have some fun here. And because of YouTube playing games, we're going to be taking off 2018, and we're going to be hitting hard to prove to them that small channels really can make a difference in this community. Anyway guys, I gotta get out of here. The gates are all open, and I guess I gotta go close them. So, bye.